What's going on about this Afro think tank? I want to talk about this UFC fighter once again who dared to besmirch my beloved First Lady Michelle Obama, at the White House UFC event, right? Because now he's on his I'm not sorry, I'm sorry apology tour where he has to, F around and find out the consequences of being unprofessional, right? At an unprofessional event, during a terrible time, right? He clearly, when it comes to reading the room, this guy is, definitely not hooked on phonics at all, right? But there's one thing, because while everybody's, pointing at the white supremacy involved here and the racism, there's one thing that just slipped right between everybody. This man who did this UFC man, he's a mulatto. He's mixed. He's a Mexican. This is a Mexican white. His daddy's white, mama Mexican, right? So what we have here, right, is a Mexican white man, with his all-American bandana on at the White House in front of the president. And it was this Mexican's man opportunity to show white people that he is one of them, that he is, he was the man. He just got finished beating a black guy, an old, washed up, beat up black guy who just finished fighting in Washington, D.C. hot weather. That fight just was who had the most wind. And the big black guy, he had it. I mean, all of them, everybody outside had to come. All the guys were dying, right? The Mexican dude was a little bit smaller, had a little bit more wind, and he won the fight against the big old black guy who, if they was the same age, in his prime, would have beat the crap out of him, right? But, nonetheless, he won the fight, right? He won the fight, and instead of just, taking his win, saying, I thank God, like everybody, they all thank God for the fact that they successfully beat the shit out of somebody else, right? As if, I guess, God was on their side while they were beating the shit out of somebody else, right? Right? God was saying, yeah, I want to make sure you beat the shit out of somebody else, and I'm going to be against that guy, right? Because me and you, God, me and you are against that other guy, God, because God's not with that other guy either, right? So God help you. But, he's supposed to say those things, right? But no, that's not what he did. No, he wanted to, he felt the fear of the crowd, the white supremacy juices flowing in the air, white people, America, got the American flag, and he just, yeah, what can I say at this moment? What to me as a Mexican white man, as a Mexican who's never been accepted by white people in his entire life, we know that, right? But clearly strive to be as close to whiteness and be approved and get validated by the white people, at the White House with Trump and everything. He's finally made it to the peak, the top of acceptance. The white people are cheering for him as he beat the big, huge black guy at the White House in front of the white supremacists. Let me just say this one thing. We put the cherry on the goddamn top of the ice cream and say, Michelle Obama is a man, yes, and you all agree with me, right? And of course, we heard the crowd. We know some of them, they agree. But let me tell you what it is when a man like that says that. You see, those type of men like little girls. They don't know what a woman is. A real woman, because they're attracted to little girls, adolescents. They're attracted to undeveloped female Homo sapiens. So when they see a grown, thick, strong, solid, all-you-can-eat buffet black woman, that's too much for them. That's that whole adulting woman thing. That's too much feminine power for them. That's too much. They like them with crayons. They like them with a 124 pack of crayons. They like them with school paper. They like them when they're using number 8 pencils, not even number 2, number 8. They like them using the big erasers, like that. That's how they like them, right? They like to buy them easy bake ovens, right? That's what they like. They like to buy them dolls and take them to go see SpongeBob SquarePants. They like those kind of women, right? So when they see a real woman, a real successful woman, the definition of black female excellence, of course they're intimidated and they call that person a man. Because the thing is, here's the thing, Michelle Obama and most all black women who display that amount of natural by default black feminine powerful energy are in fact more manly than you. They are. That's how weak these white men and these Mexican men who like to beat on their Mexican women a lot, because they do. They like to put their hands on their women. They're little kid women. They're little children. They don't want one that can throw down too. Because see, our black women can throw down. That's the thing about it. Our black women are intimidating to these men who don't have the masculine energy or power to stand next to one without being intimidated. We know that. These people are so intimidated by the feminine energy and power our black women display, and they can't stand the fact that it puts a battery in the back of all other women, because all other women admire and want to be just like that. They hate that. They hate the fact that we're coming into an era where they can't just dominate like barbarian savages, these women. They hate the fact they got to earn a woman. They can't just be given a woman. They hate that shit. And they're having a hard time, because that means that they got to get a woman based off their own charisma, based off their own swag, based off their own accomplishments, not given to them because they can just go snatch up a goddamn, a child every now and then, you know what I'm saying, because that child's daddy don't respect their daughter anyway, so they would just pass him along. They ain't shit. Them days are over. Right? So anyway, you guys tell me what you think about this in the comment section. Is that from Think Tank? Remember something? Teach something? I'm out.
You dropped the Michelle Obama line, and I'm sitting there thinking like, why? Why did we have to go there? You're not going to fight with Michelle Obama. This is not a fight. This is not a planting of a seed like Alex Prayer.
I thought I was giving her a compliment.
I don't think anyone viewed
Michelle
it as such.
Obama being a man that's like, she knows how to deal with adversity. You know, she knows how to work hard like a man. You know, when the times get tough, you know, the
Why does that come to mind in that moment? Like, you just got this massive win. Of all the things you can say, why even go there?
I thought it was a perfect opportunity to, you know, show the world how great this country is with the freedom of speech. You know, you go somewhere and you say something like that and you die, you know. And I'm not suicidal, by the way. There's a certain side that pokes at another side, and there's no outrage there. And so I thought it was a perfect time to take a jab.
Do you regret saying it?
Oh, never. That's one thing about my career. I'm never gonna, man, I think I was watching a Cejudo video, and he was like, that's one thing I regret, is like all the stuff I did. Or you hear people backtrack, even the Strickland post-fight speech where he was like, I'm trying to sell the fight, and I don't mean the things I say. I mean, you'll never hear me backtrack from what I say.
When you say you're Mexican but you're white, Mexican, understood. Well, what percentage of white and Mexican are you?
I mean, I just consider myself white racially. My dad was white American. My mom was just like Mexican, like mestiza. Mestizas are like half white. If you have a kid with a white man, that's gonna make a white baby. It's like the cool thing about Mexican not being like a race. I could be however much Mexican I want to be.
There you
So I mixed my race, right? I mixed my race with Mexican, full-blooded Mexican, and I'm like a Cherokee white person, American mutt. And then I was telling my son, the white race is getting bred out of America. Like, all of us white race, we are dying. I was telling my son, because he's half Mexican, as you can see, it's got a filter. Let me take the filter off you. I want you looking query. Anyways, I was telling my son how, like drag queeny. No. I was telling my son how I was mixing out my race because I mixed with his dad, who is Mexican, and like the white race is going away. And I don't know if you guys heard that before. And he was like, I was telling him like the white race is going to be gone before you know it, because all of American is so many different races now. We are not like all white people no more. I think that's why the white man in the government's getting scared. They're scared. Anyways.
We had black presidents before. Why would they be scared?
I don't know. And my son was saying, look, he's taking off with my grandson, so you could barely see him right there in the back. He was like, I literally pretty much bred out the Mexican with my son. He's 75% white. And I was just like, got me thinking, I got 6 kids. If half of them got with white people, which, I mean, they're all mixed up white people anyway, in America. I don't think there is purebred. What is a purebred white person? Because I'm a mutt. I'm a mixed with Indian and all the things. If half of my kids, my 6 kids, got with white people, he'd be breeding out the Mexican. But if half of my kids got with Mexicans, they would be breeding out the white. I don't know why I was thinking about that, because he was just mentioning it. It's kind of funny. And it's my first grandkid. And I was watching some damn documentary on here talking about how the white race is going to be gone. And I was like, oh no, what did I do? No, I love my babies. I love my mixed babies. But it's going to be interesting to see what my mixed grandbabies are going to be like. Do you guys think the white race is dying? Or are people tripping?
I do think that's something that people forget. Mexicans are not white. Mexicans are not United States white. Mexicans have never been United States white. Now, socially, historically, groups that are now considered white, Italians, Irish, blah, 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 the term whiteness was expanded to include them. That didn't happen with Mexicans. Mexicans had to legally fight to be declared white to avoid the Juan Crow laws. Not the Jim Crow. We had our specific own Juan Crow laws, which does not get taught in school enough, apparently, because a lot of people don't know about it.
I generally hate being mixed. Kind of a story time. Most of my childhood, I'm mixed, so I'm white and Mexican. So I was too Mexican for the white people, and I was too white for the Mexicans. I never found, like, an in-between. And it doesn't help that I am paler. Why is it that my arms are paler than my face? I don't get that. But, like, still, I'm paler than I want to be. So I was talking about my quince because I'm about to turn 15 in 2 months. This girl got so offended. She's paler than me because she doesn't think I'm Mexican. I'm like, have you seen my mother? She's a full everything. She's a full package. And my grandparents. Fortunately, I'm not fluent in Spanish, but I understand some. So she starts talking about it in Spanish. I'm like, I understand you, kind of. But I've always told people I am mixed. Like, they act like it's a crime.
Hey guys, I just thought I would remind people that mixed race people exist. Even though race is a social construct, if we operate within that social construct, there are people of 2 or more races who are both races. Whenever I'm referred to as a white woman, I don't say anything back. I'm not gonna be like, well, actually, because like I am white. My mom is white. I am also white. I clearly have light skin. I'm not ever trying to say that I'm not, and I'm not trying to like distance myself from being white because that's weird, and I'm not trying to do that. But every once in a while, it's just like, because it's usually done in a dismissive way, and it comes from both leftists and like conservatives, depending on what the conversation is. From conservatives is used in so many different ways to discount anything I say. But for example, today on Twitter, I said something about putting chains on your masks, and then I made a video about it on here. And somebody on Twitter was like, leave it to white women to bring capitalism to the conversation about protecting yourself. And I had some thoughts about that, but that's not the point of this video. But people who have parents of different races are like never enough for either side. You're too, especially if you're like white, you're like too whitewashed for that side, and then you're, you know, like you're white enough, but you're not like fully, it just depends on who you're talking to. And a lot of times when you try to embrace your non-white side, you get told that you are being like culturally appropriative, or you are just a white person, or whatever it might be. It's just like every angle there is somebody who has some shit to say. And I used to make kind of more content about this, but people got really annoying, so I kind of stopped. But I felt like I needed to make another video because I'm not trying to be weird and distance myself from my white side, but I will be damned if you are gonna tell me that I am not my dad's daughter and can't claim that part of my own identity. So when people are like, oh, this white person, you're kind of whitewashing them. I know the white passing conversation is a very opinionated one, but I also think that a lot of times when people say, oh, a white woman, they're just trying to have an excuse to be misogynistic. And you can do so by indicating that they're white. And trust me, white women can be blamed for a lot of things. White women are the reason that we have Trump. White women notoriously weaponize their victimhood. They victimize themselves. They weaponize their tears. White women can be dangerous. White women are a source of a lot of problems. But I'm begging people to stop using that as a way to just be dismissive. And I'm also begging people to acknowledge that mixed race people exist. That's it.
Because there is colorism in Mexico, and we spoke about it. The darker you are, the more you are associated with ignorance, with lack of knowledge, with lack of education, with low class, right? With poverty, aka a cuanto los tamales. And then the lighter you are, the more you're associated with high status, right? With wealth, with education. The term mestizo, it's similar to the term mixed or mulatto for Black Americans, right? Where it's the mixing of white and black. In our case, the mixing of white and indigenous. But really, the seed is carried with the father. You are whatever your father is. Now, if your father is a European man, sure, you're European, but there's not a mixture, right?
You will never be a part of the white community, okay? And let me hold your hand while I say this. You will never be a part of the white community. No matter how whitewashed you are, no matter if you don't speak your native language, no matter if you don't have an accent, no matter if you get your steak medium rare, you will never be part of the white community. I myself am Mexican, my husband is white, and the privilege that comes with that, for him, never for me, for him, everything that he doesn't understand. And I don't understand like Hispanics that are just so openly against their own people. I don't get that. I mean, like my son, I am raising him fully rooted in the fact that he knows he's Mexican and he will never be ashamed of that. A lot of people that support different thoughts that don't align with them and what they look like there's a lot of self-hatred in that. There's a lot of lack of self-acceptance. My sister-in-law is white, my husband is white, we are surrounded by white people all the time, and we will never be part of that community. It's insane to me when people shit on their own culture and their own people. And that's just the reality that we live in today. You will
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan!
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.